switch gears now to some somber news here, as the Nigerian Army has confirmed that Wednesday explosion and the death toll from that explosion in a mosque in Maiduguri, Borno State, was carried out by suicide bomber, and the numbers have now increased to 12. Now, joining us to give us a bit of insight into this is security expert Mansur Kurugu, who joins us now from Kano State for more on the story. Mr. Mansur Kurugu, thank you so much for joining me. I do have to ask, what does this attack tell us about the current operational capacity of Boko Haram? Because this feels like 2014, 2015 all over again, especially in urban areas like Maiduguri. What are we looking at?
Thank you very much. And first of all, let me start by saying Happy Christmas to all Christians celebrating across the country. And then, of course, what we are seeing now in Maiduguri is not actually going to be what we witnessed in 2009 and then 2015. I think we are witnessing a situation whereby the terrorists are now trying to show we still exist, even though their capacity has already been reduced to its barest minimum. But however, they are telling us that as community, as government, as individuals, there are still much, much more to do to finish these terrorists once and for all. And then again, they are also telling us how much our society is vulnerable to their attack, despite the fact that they are not as strong as they used to be, but actually being at the level where they can still come to the communities and attack mosque, and then, of course, come to another community and attack in the middle of the road, is still telling us that we are unable to demystify their threat. We are unable to neutralize their threat completely. So there is really much, much more to do in that regards.
Now, given that the explosion happened during evening prayers at a mosque, how are security agencies likely to reassess protection of religious and public spaces? I know that as far back as 2017, 2016, if my memory serves me correctly, what we saw were checkpoints that were further away from religious areas, whether it was mosques or churches, and there were, hotspots where you saw checks, and cars couldn't just go past. Do you see them reassessing protection just after this attack was seen, or will it take a bit of time?
I think for me, I'm not expecting military to now go back to so I'm not expecting a military to now go back to installation of all of those checkpoints and certain security stations along religious places. What I'm expecting security to do at this level is to actually take the fight to these people. Actually, they are not really far away from the communities.
Right.
At the moment, there is enough information on about where these people are. There is enough information about the patterns they do. There are enough information about how they conduct their acts and all of that. There is also enough information about their strengths and their weaknesses. So I think this time around is a moment where our military should take a very, critical decision of going after these people and make it impossible for them to even come or regroup, to even have a chance and opportunity to come and attack mosques and churches and other places where people gather. I think it is really very unfortunate at this level, when we feel so much gain has been made, to demystify these people, to continuously have these people coming into our communities, attacking mosques and churches. And one more thing that these people are still telling us is that they are criminals. They are terrorists. They should be dealt as criminals and terrorists. They have nothing to do with religion. They have nothing to do with humanity. They have nothing to do with any form of identity. They are just terrorists. Right. So they should be dealt with as terrorists. They should be, military should go after them and finish each and every one of them. I believe we should be at this level, having enough information, enough, learning from how these act to be able to annihilate and deal with them.
Right. Kurugu, you pointed to intel earlier on in your submission, saying that there's enough information about, how these guys are operating and where they are at, and knowing that they're closer to the community as usual. And so you're not thinking about check-up points or security measures to protect them. Instead, take the fight to them. And so it leads to asking about how effective the response have been by Operation Hadin Kai and other agencies, based on what we know so far about this incident from last night or from yesterday.
So I think in the first place, I would say like our security agencies were late. I mean, if at this point of time, if in this material time, when there are so many signs across the country that there are likely going to be some attacks in different communities, not only in Northeast, I think our security agencies are not as proactive as they should have been. These communities that were attacked, they were already among those border communities that are vulnerable to these people. So I would have expected if there should be a checking point or any military mechanism, that is preventive, I would have expected that to have happened earlier than when the attack has happened. Now we are talking about over 7 people being killed and many of them being injured. So we are already late. We are now just talking about, okay, what do we do moving forward? And I think in this country, we need to stop coming from that perspective of what we need to do moving forward. We have seen enough. I mean, if we are documenting everything that is happening as a country, as a community, we should have already learned enough what these people are going to do and how they are going to do it. Right. I'm not saying they are not dynamic. The terrorists are not dynamic in what they do. We believe they mutate, they change their approaches and all of that, but we should be able to also be ready, very ready to learn from everything that they are doing. And we should have been, proactive to station whatever we want to station, to caution our community members, to put certain mechanisms in the place to make sure that Boko Haram and all other form of terrorists do not have a space to continue with their terrorist act. I think that is what we should have done as a country and as a community.
All right. Mansur, I must say thank you for taking out the time to join us this afternoon, just giving us your insight. We appreciate it. Security expert Mansur Kurugu, they're giving us a bit of security intelligence or analysis following the attack, the bomb blast that happened at a mosque in Maiduguri, Borno State, as the number of deaths have now increased now to 12. Once again, thank you.